Hey everyone, this is Innovators Mindset with Holli Elliott. There we go. Holly. Okay. All right. I've had Holly on the podcast before. You are watching or listening to this podcast. It is probably February. If you have made any New Year's resolutions to get healthy, to improve your fitness, and you're kind of falling off, this is why I brought Holly, because Holly is like I mean, you are like my favorite fitness account, and you happen to teach. No, you're
Thank
seriously, and you're like, you just give such great advice. And if I
you.
ever feel lazy, you make me so guilty that I have to like go and do it because like you just do an incredible job of showing your life as a teacher, but also really focusing on being fit, having while having a family. I saw a video. Oh no, this seriously did not happen. So that's okay. I actually saw a video of you, and you're gonna see Holly up on the camera right now. You were like doing some exercises with your daughter, like holding her at the same time, and like
Yes.
uh, what a great example of you doing that. And I absolutely love that because I will tell you, once I really started checking in with my own fitness, I do push-ups every day. My kids will see me; they'll just start doing push-ups immediately, and I just love it. So you're such a great influence, not only for teachers but obviously for your own kids.
Thank you.
Like I don't know like where are we going with this? Are you just doing the fitness space at some point? Because like it is really cool to see, but like you give amazing fitness advice and while you're teaching. So I really love it. So while before we get into anything, just tell everyone a little bit if they don't know you, and I make sure you follow Holly on Instagram. Tell us a little bit about who you are, what you do today, and really kind of what you're focused on.
Well, thank you, George, for having me again. It is great to be on your show. So my name is Holli Elliott, and I define myself as a mom, a teacher, a wife, I guess, fitness influencer. I don't really like the word influencer. I don't know. I just don't because I'm not trying to influence you. I'm
Right.
just showing you this is my life. And one day I just decided that I'm working out the way I am. I'm doing everything that I do in my daily life. I'm going to throw up a camera and take you along with me. And so it kind of took off from there. My Instagram was just like I started it in 2012 when Instagram started. So if you like
Oh
scroll
wow.
down to like all my old pictures, it's just my Instagram when I started. And then I just posted a video. And actually, the first time I ever posted a workout video, when you post, George, and it
Yeah.
says save for later or post.
Yeah.
And I meant to press save for later and I posted it. And my heart sunk because it was me working out. And I'm like, am I doing it wrong? Are people going to call me out? Am I going to get made fun of? This, all these things. And people loved it. And they just
Yeah.
commented and they're like, oh, we want more of this. So kind of gave me the confidence myself. And then from there, I'm like, okay, I'm taking everyone along with me. So in short, I've taught for 12 years, sixth grade. I have 3 kids. The last time I was on your show, I only had
Mm.
two, and then I just had a baby a
Yeah.
year ago. So my little girl, 2 boys and 1 girl. And that's me.
And like here's something that I always wonder because I will tell you, and I know that we connected years ago. I was at Visalia, your school district, and was not the epitome of health. That is for sure. Like I was like in a bad space there,
Yeah.
and COVID really was kind of an awakening for me, and I was really struggling with my weight, and the research had shown that if you got COVID and you were dealing with obesity, that was not a good situation. And
Yeah.
I basically said, like I gotta fix this real quick for my
Yeah.
kids because like at the time I had 2 daughters. I'm like, these daughters are gonna grow up without dad if I don't do something. And that was like, really pushed me. But I really focused on not a fad diet, doing something that was temporary. I asked myself, like, because I've gone through this before. I've cycled, through really struggling with my weight. I said, like, what am I going to do today that I can stick with tomorrow? That will be a habit. And I think that's one of the things I really appreciate about you. There is a consistency. Like I actually know when you get up, right? Like that's something that's communicated. It's not like
Yes.
whatever. You make it a priority
Yeah.
to do that. And sometimes your kids are in the videos, sometimes,
Mhm.
but you make sure it's a priority. Like how
Mhm.
do you ensure that's something that happens every single day? And how does it actually make your teaching better? I know, because it's like, a lot of teachers listen to this, but because I think a lot of people think I don't have the time, whereas I would feel like if I didn't make time for this, I would actually be worse at what I do in some ways because it takes away from me.
Yes. I'm going to answer another question that
Sure.
you just asked that I didn't. So you asked, where am I going with this?
Yeah.
And I actually just posted a reel. This
Yeah.
old lady that I found, she's like 85 years old
Hmm.
and she's lifting weights and she's amazing. And so the end goal is, right now I'm doing it for my kids and then for the future, so they don't have to
Right.
worry about me. So just to answer that, I just want
I
to stay
love
fit
that.
for the rest of my life. So I wake up at 3:50 in the morning, 5 days a week, and then I work out on Sunday, just regular daylight hours. And it can be very hard, especially with a baby who I've said multiple times on my account is a wild card sleeper. So the first year of her life, I was at multiple times, and you get the internet trolls when they see this and like, oh, you're talking about you're pushing being sleep deprived, and this is so hard for moms to see. And hey, if you feel like you need more sleep, then sleep.
Right.
But for me, I would feel like I'm fine. So I can have 4 or 5 hours of sleep and be like, all right, 3:50 alarm, I'm getting up. But it's really all mental. So I'm actually going to post on this too. I'm going to give 5 reasons why you should skip the gym. Other than the 5 reasons to skip the gym that I'll post about, so follow me to see it. You should be out there every single day, no matter what. 5, 6 days a week, no matter what, because in your mind, you're telling yourself that you can do it. And in return, if I'm strong in my mind, I'm strong physically with my body. I'm setting that example for my kids. In my home life, I act that way. Then in my professional life as a teacher, I'm going to act the same way. And I'm going to hold my students who are in 6th grade, and they are at such a pivotal age right now to where they're going to hold those standards for themselves and carry that on to middle school and into high school, and hopefully above and beyond. And I do talk about fitness in the classroom. We do talk about that. And last time I was on your show, I did this with one of my students. And before break, I did this with one of my students. I did a push-up contest. I actually said to one of my students who's a naughty student in my class, I said, you want to talk while I'm talking? Do more push-ups than me. And he's like, challenge accepted. He couldn't do as many push-ups as me, so he stopped talking.
I love it.
And that was it. And it's like a sarcastic thing, but that's my personality too in the classroom. And they know I have this sarcasm, but I'm also very firm and loving. So it carries over.
Well, and the thing is, when you talk about that, a lot of people are like, oh, that's pretty harsh. The thing with kids is that when you have high expectations, that is an act of love. That is something that really, really matters, is that like when sometimes my oldest daughter, she gets mad at me for something. I'm like, why is dad doing this? Because he loves me. Right. And that's the expectation. And you're kind of going through that process. When you said this, I'm way older than you. There is a movie I think it's called Wildcats. I have not, it's Goldie Hawn. And she is the head football coach of a team, and they're not listening to her. It's like totally reminding me of this. And so she said, okay, let's run around the track, and whoever lasts long, if any of you can beat me, I'll quit. And then she actually, they're all like,
I love that.
You had your Goldie Hawn moment. That was like a Goldie
Hawn moment. I look at that. That's awesome.
Like, that is like,
I'll watch that movie now.
I still remember that scene, is that she was coaching these kids and said, like, I'm going to outrun you. And then they all listened to her. There's a video you did, and I'm going to actually post it on the caption, and you're just sitting in the car and you're talking, and I just loved it. I thought it was really powerful. And one of the things I do, like, you share all these things, but I love that you try different stuff too. And there's like different perspectives, and I've like kind of seen your how you share these ideas, really powerful. And I can tell like you are really passionate about this, which I think it makes it easier for people to connect with you. Mm-hmm. When there was something you said about like getting up and how you do that. And when you're talking about, people being sleep deprived, I get up the same time every single day, and that matters to me. If I slept in for 2 more hours and didn't work out, I would be more tired. I know this sounds weird. I'd be more tired from 2 extra hours of sleep than working out sometimes, because it wakes me up. I don't know what it is, and maybe it's just a me thing. I will not speak to a group until I actually work out. Like, I have to work out in the morning, even if it's like 15, 20 minutes, anything to like get a little bit of sweat. That is my coffee. So like, you get up at a ridiculously early time. How do you do that so that anyone's listening to you is like, hey, like I don't have time for this, and you've made a priority to make time for it. So that person that's like really struggling to get up, what do you do to get up?
Okay, so the alarm goes off. First of all, don't put the phone next to your bed. Okay, so have
Mm,
the phone kind of across the room. So you're number one, forced to stand up.
get it.
If the alarm is going off, you're going to count in your head for 10 seconds. So say 10, 9, 8, 7, count on whatever. And then you're going to just remove the covers and you're going to stand up. That's it. I really don't know any other way to put it. And it's so funny because I get that question all the time. How do you get out of bed? I just remove the covers and I stand up and I put my feet on the ground and I get up because it's in your head.
But
You can be
the
so
phone is
tired.
away from you that it's gonna like just go into your head if you don't actually get up and do it anyway, right? Like it would just keep going. Alarm will keep
It
going
would
off.
just keep going. Yeah. And then for me, if I've ever slept through, because I'm human, so there's times when I'm so tired from the baby. And if it was just a night of not sleeping at all, turning the alarm off, getting up to turn the alarm off, and then laying back in bed, 90% of the time I'm going to be tossing and turning and beating myself up in my head that I didn't just get up and work out. So one of the
Yeah,
reasons to skip is if you're sick, like
yeah,
sick. And that is one time I won't feel guilty if my body just needs that
yeah,
recovery and I'm
yeah.
sick. Other than that, covers off, stand up, turn your alarm off, and get up and go. And you said your coffee is waking up early. So when I
Yeah,
run in the morning,
yeah.
that is my coffee is running.
Wakes
So
up.
it wakes you up more than any coffee or energy drink would. And then I have my energy drink. But when you get out there and you go, it's crazy how much it wakes you up.
Do you know the one of the things I can't remember where I first saw it because I totally agree with you. Sometimes you're physically ill, you got something going on, or
Mhm.
you're just body like sometimes I do long runs and I'm like, I just cannot run today.
Yeah.
And sometimes it is physical and sometimes it's mental. And how I figured it out is somebody said, hey, if you're struggling to do something, just do it for 5 minutes. Just see how it goes for 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And then you basically will figure out. So after the 5 minutes, if you're done, you can't do it, then stop. Like you're just not there today. And I have never once done the 5 minutes where I didn't just finish what I set out to do. So like a lot of times it is that mental thing. That is that mental
Totally.
thing and get over that. So how do you like
Yeah.
when you struggle with that? Like, do you have any tips for someone like getting over that mental hump? You know, because I 100% agree with you. Like sometimes we have to get that sleep. Sometimes you are sick. So what's that like when it's a mental thing? How do you figure that out?
I guess that's a question I've really never thought of because I've just been so accustomed to just getting up and
Just get it
going.
up.
But for someone who is really struggling, I always say to have a plan. So if
Yeah,
you're somebody who needs to have a plan written down and kind of check things off,
yeah,
then you're failing yourself if you're not physically checking those boxes to get
yeah,
up in the morning too. Go to bed early.
yeah,
So if you are somebody who doesn't have a child waking you up all night long, the hours I go to bed is between 7:30 and 8 o'clock on a school night. And that seems so early for somebody, but when you wake up really early, you're getting your 8 hours of sleep if you're
yeah,
sleeping through. So if you go to bed earlier, then you're going to be more likely to be
yeah.
okay with waking up earlier. And I was just having this conversation with my husband. It doesn't feel right in the morning unless you're up before the sun. I don't know how to
Yeah.
explain that one either. You can relate to that, but if the sun isn't up, like I just feel like that's my morning. And then you slowly progress into watching the sunrise and all that stuff. And it just feels right. So you create a habit
Well,
for sure.
and one of the pieces of advice I give, and I am nowhere near as qualified as you, and in your progression and all the stuff that you
Ways.
juggle to do this. But I used to teach spin a long time ago, and I taught it actually while I was a principal. So I would have a class at 6 a.m. I would yell at people, get on them, and then I'd go home, quick change, go to the school, and I'd do that. And there was never a time I woke up where I'm like, do I feel like going? I had to go. Like I was the
Hmm.
instructor, so if I don't show up, there's gonna be all these people really mad at me,
Yeah.
all this thing. So it was never like hard to get up. The thing that I transferred from that experience is it is not a choice anymore. Like it's just I have to do it. And so if I have to do it, I just get up. And I think one of the things that and this advice I always give to teachers is, if you make an appointment with a parent, if you make an appointment with your principal or someone in your community, you're probably going to be there on time, right?
Mhm.
But then when it's an appointment yourself, that's when we start to flake a little bit. That's when we're like, oh, I've committed to this. And so basically treat yourself like you would treat someone else in your community, that if you're committing to it,
Really.
you stick with it. And that appointment is just as important as, if not more so, than anything else. So we are in that lull. And I think you and I don't, actually, I'm quite curious. I'm going to ask you this question first. Did you make any January resolutions? You don't see, I don't know if you're a
Yes, I
resolution. Did
did.
you, what are
I
your
did.
resolutions? I don't make them. There's one I made that I stuck to forever, is making my bed every day. But other than that, I haven't made any resolutions. What's your
I did.
resolution?
I did, and I've done it every day since I've been off on winter break, and that's stretching because I don't stretch.
Oh, that is a good
I do
one.
not stretch. I worked out my entire pregnancy with my daughter and realized, so I was pregnant for a year, 9 months. I was pregnant for 9 months. And
You just
then,
do everything. You just do everything a little more.
yeah,
Just
right.
lift a little bit more weight, pregnant a little bit more.
And then postpartum for a year. And I'm
Yeah.
like, I've pretty much not stretched in two
Yeah.
years. So my hip flexors are shot. And I'm like, you know what? I am starting to stretch. And I've done it. This is going into week 3 of consistently stretching. So that is my goal. And I am going to stick to it.
I think that's the 85-year-old woman influenced you, because you gotta stretch.
Yeah,
You gotta stretch.
you have to.
Yeah, it is huge. I have a very good friend. I think he's 78 years old. His name's Joe Papalardo. I love the guy, and I'm 50, and I keep pretty fit, and I will not play him in tennis because he will kill me. He's so good at tennis, and he's so good at sports, and just to see him,
Yeah,
he is moves every day. He golfs every day. He plays
that's
tennis,
awesome.
and
That's the goal.
yeah, it's totally the goal. He is a very active, and I don't want to be, that was one of the reasons I want to lose weight. I was having trouble bending over to pick up my kids because, I was struggling with this. Okay, so last question I got for you,
Okay.
and everyone, again, I'm just gonna make sure you follow Holly on, because you're gonna get this all the time. She does really inspiring videos, gives great advice, and I watch you all the time. And I know you always talk to moms. I'm like, and George, and
Yes.
George. So if you can give me a little side thing, right? Hey, moms and
Well,
George. Yeah. I love your stuff. So make sure you follow Holly, to kind of get through. I know, through the year, to keep the habits up through the year. What is a piece of advice you give to people to not just be something you do temporarily, but something that is long term? How would you help people get to that space?
I really love what you said about making it an appointment for yourself. And
Mm.
really, it's just making it a habit. Do you know the statistics on creating a habit? How many days it
No,
takes?
I have
I,
no
I
idea.
don't either. So we're gonna have to look that up. But if you create a habit
Yep.
X amount of days and stick to it, then you're more likely to make that a consistent part of your life. So really sticking, really following through. And when you get to the point where you're not exercising for some reason, you have one of your kids' sports events, or you have
Yep.
to go out of town that weekend and go somewhere, and you're not able for whatever reason
Right.
to not work out, and you're beating yourself up because you don't get a day to work out. You know that you've succeeded, and you know that you've made it into, this
Right.
is a part of my life and this is my routine.
When
So
it hurts
sticking to
when you
it every
don't
day.
go. When you don't go. I love
When
it.
you don't go, exactly. When you don't go and you have that day off for whatever reason, you have that day off and you're like, wow, okay, so this is a part of my life now. Um, and I really just, I don't, I don't know. I really like how you set an appointment with yourself.
Well,
That's the best way.
listen. Here's the thing, and it is. I love that it's actually you're struggling with this question because it's so ingrained into you, which is a good thing. So,
Yeah,
so
I'm digging deep here.
yeah, and that is something that, if you connect with Holly, one of the things I truly love is that I've been following you for years and watching this, and it doesn't matter seeing what's going on in your life, you find a way and you figure
Yeah,
it out, and becomes part of you. And I think that's this is, when I go back to what I said about losing weight, it was do something today that you can stick with tomorrow. I actually will never kill myself at the gym to the point where I'm so sore that I can't go the next day. And I think that's one of the things that I really try to focus on. Please.
Yes. And so I told you that I was helping one of my old
Hmm.
principals. And I actually just told her this the other day. She said, I'm going right now 2 to 3 times and I'm using your split. And I said, good. I said, you
Hmm.
should be. You should not be going in full force
Yeah.
6 days a week because no one's going to succeed from burnout. So I really like how you put it that way too. If you're giving yourself a couple attainable days a week to start,
Yep.
and then you start falling in love with the process, it's going to be easier. And then another thing I thought of, when it's results driven and you start to see results and you start to feel better and you start to see it in your body,
Yeah.
then you're not going to want to stop. You're going to want
Nope.
to keep pushing to get it done every day. And then that's when you add your weights and you start following these people on Instagram who you want to look this way or you like their advice.
Hmm.
You start reading books, just whatever it is, and then you just become better, and then it's your life.
If you ask like my kids who are 3, 5, and 9, the mantra of the family is you do not get the good stuff without doing the hard stuff. That's
Yeah,
they all say that, and that's what I say
I
to them
love
all the
that.
time. Like, hey, you do not get the good stuff unless you do the hard stuff. So
Hmm.
listen, everyone, make sure you connect with Holly. I'm sorry for the bad angle. My camera died, of course, while we're talking, but I just love talking to you, and so I think we need to do this a yearly check-in just to make sure people
Definitely.
are getting on track. So, but if you want constant advice and inspiration, Holly is that person. So, thanks everyone for listening. Holly, thank you so much.
Thank you so
I hope you have a
much.
wonderful day. Take care.